Hey guys, welcome back to Margot Watches Movies. My name is Jake Margot. Tonight we're going to be discussing the season finale of Alien Earth. This was a season overall that I found to be filled with lots of promise and frustratingly uneven with some jarring, stupid character decisions. I think, in essence, this could definitely be described as a season that stumbled along the way that showed tons of promise, an attention to detail, magnificent set design, some wonderful performances, but overall, as a whole, while I did enjoy it and I enjoyed the ride, I do feel a bit let down after a pilot episode that seemed to me to suggest that we might have television's next great show, as far as blockbuster IPs go and stuff of that line. I do think after watching this finale, none of those thoughts about the season have gone away. There were aspects of this finale that I thought were extremely well done. I think there were some good amounts of tension. I think Gina Gonzalez, again, whom I'm shouted out in my review for episode 7 last week, was really good in the director's chair again. She had some really creative shots. She, along with the editing process, had these jarring, injections of visuals on the screen that kind of disoriented you, got you into a good sense of this disorientation the characters were feeling as we sort of see the inmates take over the asylum, so to speak, with the Wendy and the Lost Boys, as they're known. I think there were certain storylines, there were certain build-ups to character moments that fell flat for me. I think the season long build up towards this clash and conflict with Kirsch and Morrow, my two favorite characters in the show, the ones I thought to be the most intriguing. When it actually finally happened, it just arrived on screen. It didn't seem to be any build up. Morrow escapes from a cell, and in the next scene, he's behind Kirsch, and a fight ensues, and it's broken up by the Lost Boys before they're able to kill each other. And I just felt like it was deflating in a sense, because I think that was something I was looking forward to. Was it going, these men who appeared to be players on this power grab that has been up all season. Kirsch, who appeared to be a wolf in sheep's clothing as far as working for Boy Cavalier. I think the hatred that was suggested that he felt for Boy Cavalier is still there, but the fact at the end where he's one of the people being, I guess, held accountable. So I think that's a big theme of this episode is all of these characters and all the choices they make, they're finally held to accountability, retribution, whatever you want to call it, seems to be the big selling point at the end of this episode for Wendy and her legion now. I think, again, some of the shortcuts taken for things to happen, character choices. And I made the silly pun last week, but I'll say it again. I just think with how cavalier Boy Cavalier is, again, forgive me, but to everything just falling apart. It's yes, I'm aware that his arrogance had led him to the position he's in, but to be so whimsical and so oblivious, is that the right word? Is that the right characterization of how he felt to everything that he has built falling apart around him, and to just be so whimsical and lackluster about it didn't really ring authentic to me. I think the biggest and best reveal for me as we start the episode off with a dead Arthur, which seemed to really be rubbing it in our faces. Because again, as I said last week, I felt Arthur to be really the lone character of true empathy on the show. The reveal at the very end where the eye monster gets out, and I'll get into some details. I'm just covering some of the big points here. Where it's revealed at the very end of this episode that the eye monster has used Arthur's corpse as his host. I am excited to see that play out in a second season if the show gets renewed. The end point of Wendy saying we rule now, having all of these people that they've captured in this cell. You have, of course, Boy Cavalier, you have Morrow, you have Kirsch, you have the mother figure, Arthur's wife, and Boy Cavalier's right-hand man, who we come to find out is a synth he designed to help kill his father when he was a 6-year-old child. So you do get a scope of how genius Boy is, but you also get a sense that he has really never been someone that had much emotions, or in the sense of like he's kind of a sociopath. And I guess most billionaires probably are. But I just, going off pure feeling, maybe on a rewatch I might, but just my pure feelings, how I reacted emotionally was meh to the whole finale. And with a season's worth of investment, I do feel a little let down. I feel a little let down by the season as a whole, and it's due to the promise the show has. It's There's so much that has gone into crafting this world, and I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again. I think the set designs, I think the attention to detail to really nail the aesthetics and looks of what made those original Alien movies so unique in their feel. I think the blend of this analog technology, hyper futuristic with retro thrown in, works so well. I think the island setting that we were really limited to for the majority of this season was well done, though I do hope a subsequent season will really expand into the world. I'd like to get more point of views from Yutani and other corporations. And I do think that's where the show is heading. And I think the show will actually be much better for it. I do appreciate the how generous they were in showing xenomorph action this season. I do. And there might be like diehard fans of the Alien series, which I wouldn't consider myself one. I'm not huge on the lore. I didn't even know until someone pointed out in the comments last week how essential Yutani core is to the alien mythology. I would prefer to see the show get more into the world of Earth with some xenomorph action just peppered in there. So hopefully that's where the future seasons go. Get more into the political intrigue. I think that could be very interesting. And I know it's been done in other shows, but the world and the aesthetic and that could be very interesting to me. And that's all I'll say about that. So picking back into this episode, Wendy has seemingly discovered the ability, and it's been hinted at throughout the season, but she just with a wave of her hand, she's basically like a wizard now as far as hacking the technology on the island. I mean, Boy Cavalier is just completely vulnerable as she just literally does whatever she wants in this cell. And she's reaching, like, dare I say, Mary Sue levels of power. But I do find her callousness to be interesting. She kind of is matching Boy and just like, okay, you're either with me or against me. And she is pretty ruthless in this episode as she decides she wants to be queen. She makes the power play that I kind of expected Kirsch to make and not just end up being some loyal henchman. Apparently, maybe we'll see more development on that in future seasons. It's kind of hinted like the xenomorph and its child are going to absolutely yeet all the people in this cage at the end of the episode, but I don't see that happening. I would have liked to see the death of Boy, but it seems to suggest to me, even though they end the episode on this note of they're all about to get their comeuppance, that they will be saved for a later season. I do think Boy Cavalier should have died in this season. I don't see his character having much more use. I don't find him to be very interesting after the initial, ooh, he's this whimsical boy genius, whatever. I just think he's made so many dumb decisions from a leadership point. I think he's so over the top arrogant. There's not much left you can do with the character unless they had like merged the eye monster into him, which we got with Arthur instead, which is a little more interesting to me. I wish we had gotten that before Boy was captured and we'd gotten Boy to have his conversation. I think it would have been great for the eye monster, Othello or something. Like someone mentioned in the comments below. It's a super sci-fi name. It'll take me a while to learn that, maybe next season. I wish that monster had killed him in this and unalived him in this episode. I honestly was rooting for Joe, Wendy's brother, to have the thing jump in his face, because I just think his character is so pointless in a sense. He's like a puppy dog just following Wendy around. And the fact that he was so dumb to just be led into this empty room with Boy's henchman, who has shown obvious disdain for him for the whole season, was so stupid to me. And he deserved to have consequences for that within the logic of this show. So overall, again, I think I feel myself feeling let down because this show could be so much more. I think if they touch up and they really hone in on the script and make a real concerted effort to airtight the story, hone in on something, don't make so many story beats require characters making bonkers decisions to progress the plot forward. The spectacle and the aesthetics, the visual attention to detail, the direction is all wonderful, but we need those story beats to unfold organically, and a lot of them felt forced. Like, we want X to happen, so no matter what, we're going to make this character do this dumb thing just so X can happen. Find a more organic way to get to the finish line. So, overall, to me, I think I'd give this episode a 6. And I don't know if that's divisive or controversial. I don't know how other people are thinking of it. It's just how I'm kind of feeling. I'm feeling let down. But I am aware enough to acknowledge there was certain great scenes tonight, and then just the direction and the visual effects and all that stuff. The performances are top notch. So season 2, I hope, takes a big leap forward and elevates it into a pantheon that it could get to. It's given itself a real shaky foundation with certain characters' choices made throughout the season. Corner-cutting writing. So that's my review for the season 1 finale of Alien Earth. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Am I being too harsh? Am I not being harsh enough? What are your thoughts? Where do you see this show moving towards in the future? Because one other aspect I didn't mention is you get Yutani invading the island at the end. So she will surely be taking over the island. But I hope that we move on from this island. I don't know. So let me know in the comments below. Give me a like if you enjoyed the review. Subscribe if you haven't. It would be appreciated. But that's all for tonight, guys. My name is Jake Margo. This is Margo Watches Movies. As always, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.